ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy.
Booty makers, try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited, 665-3336.
The Trinidad and Tobago Newsday. Now you really can look forward to staying home. Newsday, independent and credible.
We are broadcasting to you live from Couva in central Trinidad, the energy capital. Let me say a very special good morning and welcome to our international audience streaming live with us. Good morning and thanks for choosing 975 as your radio of choice. And let me say a very good morning also to all those people who are locked on to us on YouTube. Yes, you at RCLU975. You can catch YouTube. Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the morning program, You Talk, on 97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper with yours truly. And yes, Mukesh Baburam. But in the evening until 9, right here on 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. So today is Mukesh's last day on this morning's program. Let us wish him all the best in that new venture of his, hosting that program on Monday from. So as we continue with our program here, it's the most interactive morning program on the airwaves of Trinidad and Tobago. But as of now, let me keep you abreast as to some of the major stories as published in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Today, as I said, it's Friday, June 26, 2020. And in today's edition of the Newsday, let's see what's happening on page 3. Bastille Pandey, Michela's party, yes, that is the Patriotic Front, yesterday would have held its press conference. And its leader, its political leader, my apologies. Just let me remind you that the Saharan dust is still with us, and we've got this blanket of dust covering Trinidad and Tobago. Visibility is very low indeed, and those of you who are suffering with respiratory illnesses, well, then you are asked to take all the necessary precaution, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated. Yes, so as we continue to keep you abreast as to some of the today's edition of the Newsday newspaper, as we continue to focus on the 2020 general election. Well, Jolene John to contest La Hoquita Talparo for the United National Congress. The election certainly heating up people as more and more candidates will be announced by the United National Congress going forward. So yes, Michela Pandey has thrown her hat into the political ring with her party, the Patriotic Front. They are prepared to contest all 41 constituencies and Julita Talparo seat for the United National Congress. Wrightson Road partially closed this weekend. That's on page 5. Yes, and $25,000 reward for killers of Ania and Haddad. That announcement was made by Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith yesterday at the police media briefing. And this morning in our 6 o'clock newscast, we would have Police Commissioner Gary Griffith is calling on you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to help the TTPS to find the killer/killers of this 2-year-old girl, Ania McLeod. That story is on page 7. Arrested for shooting in bar. An Enterprise man was arrested on Thursday afternoon after shooting another man at a bar. Quarantine cruise ship workers tested for virus. Just one of the seized cruise ship was swabbed on Thursday evening. They are now awaiting their second COVID-19 negative result. Once they get that, they will be released on Saturday. So that's good news for the families and friends of these 295. Complaint judge sends warning to Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith. And Griffith denies taking action against COP because of Facebook post. Those stories on page 8. Well, let's focus a bit now on the Guyana election. Remember, the Guyana general election was held on the 2nd of March 2020. And up to today, people, well, no decision has been made as yet as to who is the clear winner. So you can catch some of those comments, those thoughts concerning the Guyana general election of the Newsday newspaper on page 8. CCJ tells Guyana Election Commission, keep status quo, don't declare results. The Caribbean Court of Justice yesterday maintained that the status quo in Guyana should remain as it is. This is an order for there to be a fair determination of the issues and appeal by that country's opposition in relation to the election of the president. So the bacchanal, the brouhaha continues with the Guyana general election, more so as no decision has been made either by GCOM or by the criticizing the budget as presented on Monday by the finance secretary at the Tobago House of Assembly. Garcia, contingency in place if SEA teachers don't accept the offer. Well, that is a story we would continue to develop on. Olivier Lehunt support McCletchy for Lebré. That story where the PNM would have selected a candidate for the Lebré constituency. So it's just about 20 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock, and let me remind you that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975. Yes, so go outside there, folks, and purchase your copy of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. It is priced at only $3, and it's available at all leading newsstands throughout Trinidad and Tobago. The Newsday newspaper, chock full of news, views, interviews, and yes, you can also get the latest from the world of sport. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, as we continue with today's edition of the morning program. You Talk on 975 FM. Stay with us.
Puzzle lovers, rejoice! Your free 24-page Newsday puzzle book is now available twice a week, only in your Trinidad and Tobago Newsday. Now you really can look forward to staying home. Newsday, independent and credible.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine.
Organizations and other top executives on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper for 2 one-hour monthly features as they discuss the concerns and challenges facing the working class of this country, tackling the issue, finding solutions, bringing the workers' agenda to the front burner, and providing a new vehicle. That's the NSA's mission. Be part of this informative panel discussion with operatives from the NSA on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much for being with us here at 97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper. It's just about 23 minutes here per clock. And let me remind you that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of radio at 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. You are with the interactive morning program on the airwaves of Trinidad and Tobago with yours truly, Kenrick Juggernaut. And sitting alongside me this morning show is Mukesh Baburam, but he will tell you a bit later about a big project he is working on, and that of course will be coming on stream as of next Monday from the hour of 6 in the evening until 9. So good news to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Mukesh Baburam will be on air from 6 in the afternoon until 9. Yes, Monday the 29th of June 2020. But he will tell you, as I said, a bit more of that, what he will deal with, what the structure of the program will be all about. So it's good news to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, more so as we try to improve FM Hot Like Pepper to greater satisfy the needs of our clients and you, the members of our listening audience. So what's on our plate this morning? What's on our plate? Well, we have a number of issues which we're going to touch on with you this morning. The politics of Trinidad and Tobago, the big Michaela Pandey, the political leader of the Patriotic Front. Well, she has announced that her dad, former Prime Minister Basti Pandey, will be the campaign manager for the Patriotic Front. This as it contests all 41 seats in the upcoming 2020 general election. So we'll just, coming days, no announcement has been made as yet as to when the general election will be held. Yeah, the only speculation. Those in the know are saying sometime in the month of September. A date would have been coming to me from a reliable source stating that the election will be held sometime in September. Note, that is not official, just rumors being circulated that September 7th could be the date for the general election in Trinidad and Tobago. And also the United National Congress continues to announce candidates. And yesterday, of course, we heard that Jolene John, one of the candidates for the United National Congress, more so on the east-west corridor. But before I take this call on the line, let me say a very special good morning to Mukesh Baburam from the morning program as of today. Good morning, Mukesh.
Good morning to you, Kenrick. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. In particular, listeners of U975 FM, another beautiful morning here in Trinidad and Tobago as we look out through our vantage point here from the studios of U975 FM. Yes, it's my final day on this program, but I will bid my goodbye maybe later on, just before we exit the program today. But, the big story, as you said, Kenrick, Patriotic Front, their intention to contest 41 seats, and the political leader. I like how that sounds, because
you like how it sounds when it's coming from me. The political leader.
Yes, because it says a lot. No, that says a lot. That is, that is the reason vision came in the UNC between Pandey and
Kamla Prasad,
because he wanted somebody to be that sound of he's a custom political leader. So, but I don't want to get into that maybe solely,
But he has a new handle now. He's a campaign manager.
Well, why would I want a campaign manager who has, overseen all the mashup in the UNC? Remember, since he left and Kamla Prasad became leader, there has never been a split in the UNC to date. So he has overseen all the splits in the UNC. He was there, the main player, and and who since he started to advise his daughter, she has never made any headway. I said last time, it's time she fire she campaign manager and hire somebody new who could chart a different course for her. But it means it looks like she don't want to reach anywhere.
No, but I give them credit. They have what you call guts like a calabash.
I
want the contest.
With the heights that Basti Pandey reached as a Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, I don't know if falling down to this level is really what. And I mentioned it on the station already that I went to register for Calypso at City Hall in San Fernando, and when I walked in, I always had at that time a yellow juice, and this group of fellas in the red, and they're talking about who will come across to help the PNM, the Pandays. And I was about to open the door, and when they looked around, they saw me with a yellow jersey. I told you the story already.
Yes,
on the air.
yes,
You understand?
I remember that.
So when I heard he launched it, but listen, I am happy for them. Truly, truly, truly happy for them. 41 constituencies multiplied by 5,000 deposit. The Treasury will gain.
Well, I promised the listening audience to get an interview with Michaela Pandey.
Yes.
To get her thoughts and to get her views going forward, 2020 general election. But talking about that, let me remind the listening audience that a bit later on in the program, I'll be hosting the President General of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, Mr. Nirvan Maraj, as we discuss labor. Today we'll discuss labor, pandemic, environment. Let me also announce to you, the listening audience, that later on this afternoon you can join Sudat Prasad from just around 3 in the afternoon until 6 for his program on the wind. He has a number of people who will be sharing their thoughts and sharing their views with him on the program. Kenya Charles, former Trinidad and Tobago woman footballer, and she's also a UNC candidate for St. Anne's East. And also appearing on the program, on the phone that is, conducting an interview with him, is Giselle Chance, president of Vision on Mission and chairman of NOVA, that's the Committee of Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. And interesting to that, this name might sound very familiar to you, Karen Nunez Tichera, former Minister of Finance and attorney at law. They will be sharing some points of view this afternoon with Sudat Prasad on his program on Wine.
Sudat Prasad, he ranking high.
Ranking high. No, good talk indeed. Good talk indeed. And I'm sure that the listening audience will be interested to know the number of people who he will be interviewing a bit later on. So it's good talk, and it's only happening on one frequency, 975 FM.
As I go through the newspaper this morning, we are accustomed, and sometimes strange with the United Nations Congress, we are accustomed seeing UNC Bacchanal all over, but number I see in headline of one newspaper, PNM Bacchanal.
Yeah, that story I want on it. That's why I didn't mention anything this morning, where Cleopatra Bowell-Brown, according to a report, we cannot confirm it as yet, is a United States citizen, and as such, she could be debarred from contesting the general election of 2020. So maybe the People's National Movement needs to do its homework. It reminds us way back of the UNC?
Bill
Chaitan, yes.
Gypsy. All this,
yes. Yeah. So we'll continue to monitor and continue to keep you abreast of all of the developments taking place.
Well, the Bacchanal and the PNM has to do with Dabadi Omera. Right. That's one of the Bacchanal. But go ahead.
Let's take this call on the line. Yeah. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Ken, and morning, Mr. Baburam.
Morning,
good morning.
Well, I'm just giving you a call to say something because I know you are not on either side of the colors, the red or the yellow. But last night, after hearing Mrs. DeSissa, I don't know if you heard her, well, she was so impressive that it moved me out my shoes, man. And I know this morning, those people who are in village and so on, will be laughing at both sides of the air, because she was very, very impressive. And she attacked where she should attack, and she bring proposals where proposals supposed to be, and she offers a lot of goodies like the income tax reduction, and she offered land to the landless, and she really, really came good. It's a long time I didn't hear such a comprehensive political speech from anyone, and I believe by now, Mr. Kenwick, if you have heard it last night, I believe you would not be saying you're not taking sides. I believe at this stage you will say, well, look, you are following Mr. DeSissa.
No. I'm not going to take sides. I just try to be a person in terms of general election in this country. Let's take another call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Kenrick, and morning, Mr. Baburam.
Morning, sir.
Well, Baburam, when he said this was your last show, I detected a little glee. I would have thought there would have been a little sadness, but
No, hold on. I'm very happy for Mukesh to have his own show. I'm very happy for him to have his own.
It has nothing to do with getting rid of it.
No.
I'm just joking, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, I didn't hear you say no pun intended earlier when you said you're waiting to see how the situation with Makila Pandey pans out.
Pans out. I mean, pandy. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, good. But these people, I mean, I am not concerned that they're going to split any votes. If they are going to get any votes, stronghold, and that would not be enough to split to take the seat away from the.
But let me challenge you here a bit. I take issue with people when they talk about split vote. You have one vote. You have a decision to make.
Yeah.
If you are loyal and you believe in the policy of, let's say, the People's National Movement, or by extension, the United National Congress, you continue to vote for them. But if you are unsure as to the direction the party is flowing, the direction the party is going with you withhold your vote. Or if there's someone else who you think might greater represent you, you vote for them. So this thing about split vote, to me, it's not about a split vote. It's about your decision where you decide to stain your finger.
Well, Mr. Pandey, as Mukesh rightly said, there's always been an advocate for all these parties coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's strange now that at the 11th hour you will come to announce that you understand. But Mr. Pandey has his grudge, he has his vindictiveness, and with anything, to try and curtail with the UNC winning the election. But that would not help him. They can't do, according to Mukesh, 41 by 5. We should look at it this way, from that point of view. 41 by 5,000. 205,000 in the Treasury. We'll take that anytime. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, so Kennedy Jagannath has just retreated to the newsroom, and of course, from next week may not be that way, but motion break. I know we have callers in line, but we need to do this. When we return, of course, we open the lines again.
Hurry to 3C2 Rentals, number 77 Bonaventure Road, Gasparillo, for your business and personal tool and rental needs. Available for rent: coring machines, compactors, concrete vibrators, demolition hammers, drills, saws, scarifiers, pressure washers, generators, welding units, trash pumps, hydrostatic test pumps, and so much more. We offer free transport and at very competitive prices. Visit or call us at 650-2362 or 789-4581 for more information.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on pitch pine doors.
Well, the newspaper says PNM Bacchanal and Bacchanal the Dabadi Omera seat. Canal in the church. A priest has told the priest to exit the monastery. And a woman claims assault by a priest. She was sexually assaulted from 7 to 12. Oh boy, so many things. Good morning. Hello?
Morning, Mukesh.
Morning to you, sir.
Everything?
Okay, man.
Mukesh, just on a point of interest. Cleopatra Burrell and J.W. Blaze.
Yeah.
Right. Both of them would have denounced their citizenship before being selected as candidates.
Okay. And I doubt the newspaper will be so irresponsible to print something like this, and this comes from the Trinidad Express. It says U.S. citizen Burrell faces hurdle for Port of Spain South seat.
Mukesh, you would know that is a usual habit with the newspapers.
Well, I don't know in a case like this.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
And I am telling you that both Cleopatra Burrell and J.W. Blaze had renounced their citizenship before being named as candidates.
Okay. Well, and you're a gentleman in the know.
I am always in the know, Mukesh.
All right, brother. No problem.
Thank you very much for the time.
Okay, nice. Yeah, good. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
You would really think
Mikila Pandey, contesting 41 seats.
Well, I would love for it to contest 41 seats so the Treasury could be, could beef up the Treasury somewhat.
No, you understand the Silver Fox yet?
Uh-huh.
He wants in the parliamentary back door. They're hoping that Kamala feel squeeze and bring in all of them and give them a seat to fight.
Okay, let me tell you, let me see how it goes. If she sits out this election, it will make her irrelevant. So even if she lose all 41 seats, she will still be in people's, in the limelight and for the election, and maybe they are not gained for this election. Maybe for
that campaign manager, she could win every election.
All right, man. Yeah, good. Nice, yes. So the newspaper says, again, U.S. citizen Borrell, but I know these things work out. Let's go to the lines. Good morning.
Morning, Mukesh. How are you, man?
Well, I'm doing fine.
Well, I'm sorry to know this is your last show, and, reading some other newspaper, it seems as if she is definitely outed. But it sort of looks a bit different. Won't she be actually prepared for the next Olympics?
Well, yes, she was preparing for the Olympics. She would have been
right, financially, by our government. And if so, how she could have represented us?
Well, I don't think she should be debarred bid for election once she is eligible to become, to participate in the Olympics. Because if you are training for the Olympics, you must be, assisted financially at a certain level.
Yeah, I understand that.
So,
but being a citizen of America.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully somebody going to answer that question.
Because the newspaper didn't say a dual citizen; it says a U.S. citizen, right? Okay.
Well, one of the newspapers did say dual.
Dual. Well, okay. If one said dual, well then yes.
So I guess more information going to be much more. Will be more enlightening.
Okay. Thank you.
And as I said, Mukesh, I'm reading also where these Canadian people want to come back home, and I think government should. I mean, here we are, where we have a lot of these planes just parked up in the hangar. It's an opportunity for us to make some money, right? I mean, you could actually charter these planes. Our plane could be chartered right by our locals, right, to bring back. These people home. And here in a week time, all of these facilities going to be virtually empty.
Yes.
People would have gone back home. So I think that it is something worthwhile that we should, in fact, get our citizens back home. Thank you, Mukesh.
Well, the pandemic began in Wuhan, and it gained that great, so many citizens became infected. Countries who did not have a single case still went into Wuhan to extract their citizens, all their citizens from that place. So never mind, you will have, a spike in Europe or a spike in the US or wherever. They are your citizens. And if they wish to come back, countries could go where the pandemic took root, where it originated, and send their planes to extract their citizens. We have 4 students way in India who are begging to return. All they need is permission to enter the country. At one point, they said they could reach as far as Barbados. And the country refused. 6:45, we need another commercial break. So let's go to that commercial break now. I know we got to do this.
David Davies Radiator Works specializes in rebuilding, repairing, recoring, and cleaning of all automotive and industrial radiators. Also oil coolers, heat exchangers, and gas tanks. A wide variety of metal and plastic radiators are also available. Visit any of the branches in Peru, Princestown, or their newest location in San Pedro via Rio Claro. Call today 652-6297 or 747-8601. Davies Radiator Works. We cool the heat when you.
Davidson Safety Garments for all your industrial safety supplies. We supply a wide range such as face masks, coveralls, shirts and pants, jackets, aprons, lab coats, fire-resistant clothing, steel-toe boots, and we also do embroidery and printing. Visit Davidson 863. Our fax number is 653-9271, or you can email us at sales@Davidson. Save your safety needs we can supply.
Yes, we had callers on the line. You can call in 367. From Monday, I returned to my original program. Well, this is, talk to TNM Bacchanal in the church. They are probing a priest at Mount St. Ben, the monastery, and a woman's claim assault by a priest. She says, well, that's the day before yesterday. Good morning.
Good morning, Mukesh, and good luck with your show. I don't want to get beat up. I'll get real radical on you, right?
Yes.
And I was going to say, I believe that woman when she spoke about the church, Allah and the oppression of the poor. And what I want to say is this. I think the UNC have a good shot at winning, and I like them, and vetting everybody. She has to do a good job because of a party, you can't keep your eyes on everybody and micromanage everybody. You're bringing in people to represent people. And it's almost like a chain reaction. And if you're open, good, we could help everybody. And not to lie too much and hurt other people. It's just, we have to change because, our thinking influences so much, Mukesh.
Yes.
It influences how we be.
You have to suppress all these things that you are born with. You are born with anger. You are born with violence, and in your genes.
You learn that. You're not genetically bred to be this way.
Yes,
but
we are.
Make us believe that we have the power and capacity. They are laws and rules that govern us by humans. We follow the right to farm the land, to live and to survive. Shouldn't be, we have people when schools were on, you're cheating and praying off people to get your children in the best schools.
Tell me,
because I believe that knowledge is the way to change our way of thinking and beyond race and beyond all of that. So yeah, I believe. Okay, thank you and good luck with your show.
And during the course of that show too, we have a nice award for you, or a reward.
And show,
Yes.
You sure you'll be right? I listen to the news and I party make it coming out. So we have plenty of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
After the election, I believe they could have one big.
During the election, I said even during the election they could have it. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the issue indeed open. Two grandfathers the other day appeared for the court. One over 70 and one like having children now. You have to have your eyes, and it's so challenging now at appearance. You have to have your eyes and ears open at every point. You can't trust nobody. You can't trust your shadow. I mean,
yeah.
And then there are the cases like even where the actual fathers and the children. So that's a real challenge. Like we have to have eyes and ears. Everybody has to be on the alert and look out for this thing.
I know. Well, if they interfere with little boys, now they
look at mankind and the society as a whole.
All right.
That's somebody else shot out.
Okay. Commenting on the church and many issues also. And I am MacLeod. Well, we have not heard from the the Minister of National Security. As soon as he exited the plane and exited the airport, they have never seen or heard of him, except when they exhumed his body. And it's nice to know that, the police. Sundat Chattargoon One of the drunk driver they catch. Kisundat for being drunk and driving. Have a look for the others posting them in the Oh, Marathon saying she's making me news is up in the next few minutes. Good morning.
Oh, yeah, I think drunk drivers, they would keep on drinking and they will keep on killing people. I think these people ought to be taken off the roads completely. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Let me see here.
Please hang up and try.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-218.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors. Davies Radiator Works specializes in rebuilding, repairing, recoring, and cleaning of all automotive and industrial radiators. Also oil coolers, heat exchangers, and gas tanks. A wide variety of metal and plastic radiators are also available. Visit any of the branches today: Vista Bella, Ari Peru, Princestown, or San Pedro via Rio Claro. Call today 652-6297 or 747-86. Radiator Works. We cool the heat when you overheat.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
FM Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Uma Ratan Singh. Good morning. Police Commissioner Gary Griffith has responded after High Court granted an interim injunction to a police officer, preventing the commissioner from removing him from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. the office of 3 people, which occurred in Barrackpore in 2011. A report said Griffith, who wrote to the officer informing him that it was the public interest to dismiss him or for the officer to retire from the TTPS. Commenting on the latest development at the TTPS media briefing yesterday, Griffiths said he will continue to do what is required to remove the rogue elements from the police service. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar has announced Jerlene John as the candidate for the La Horquetta Talparo seat. The announcement meeting last night. According to John, the UNC will victoriously sweep the East-West corridor and form the next government. John and People's National Movement candidate Foster Cummings will be battling for the seats thus far. This is not John's first stint in politics. She entered the public life under former Prime Minister Basdew Pandey and served as the former Transport Minister and Minister of Tourism and Tobago Affairs. Political leader of the Patriotic Front, Michaela Pandey, says the talk about a vote for the patriotic vote is all propaganda. Michaela Pandey spoke during a press conference to announce the party's intention to contest the general election. Michaela said the party will contest all 41 constituencies. The party's campaign manager, she said, is former Prime Minister Basdew Pandey.
Enough experience, and he has a team obviously with him, but he has enough experience of fighting elections to give us. We have done a statistical study of the voting pattern in this country using the EBC and CSO statistics, and the voting pattern shows that of the two put together, less than 50% of the entire electorate votes for them.
The voice of Michaela Pandey. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is offering a $25,000 reward for information on the killing of 2-year-old baby girl Ania. The child and her 39-year-old father, Stephen McLeod, was shot and killed at Achongtree's Tunapuna on June 19th. Griffith made the announcement while speaking at the TTPS media briefing yesterday.
We are putting out a $25,000 reward for information that can assist us in trying to pinpoint the perpetrator of that heinous act whereby the 2-year-old was killed along with her father. $25,000 reward, and you can actually send forward the information to Crime Stoppers.
The voice of Commissioner Gary Griffith. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 800 TIPS. The Commissioner of Police again criticized the lack following the killing of the 2-year-old child. The Ministry of Health in its latest update has issued a statement noting that 4,543 samples have been submitted to the Caribbean Public Health Agency and UWI site for testing. A total of 123 people have tested positive for the COVID-19. 6 cases remain active, 109 people have been recovered, and 8 others have died. To this end, members of the public are reminded that they must adhere to the new normal recommendations and take personal health measures to protect themselves and their loved ones from COVID-19. In a related story, bars will only be permitted to open from 8 a.m. daily. This was clarified in the Public Health 2019 Novel Coronavirus Regulations. The new regulations came into effect as of yesterday and will remain effective until the end of the month. Previous regulations stipulated a closing time for all businesses and permitted the reopening of bars and casinos. However, the ordinance issued on did not specify any opening time for the bars and casinos, leaving room for some to operate from midnight. The new regulations put an end to the ambiguity. Assemblyman for Palatuvier Speyside Farley Augustine believes Tobago budget presented by THA Secretary of Finance.
We have to consider that, to not just fund government projects, but to also buoy the private sector up. Some of the investments needed on this island will be larger than what BDU is offering. Related to this, we also need to know the required growth rate relative to the cost of borrowing, taking into account the fact that much of the financing by either the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago will come from borrowing. And so, yes, being able to borrow is good, but we needed to have that projected growth rate up to at least 2022, so we know how much we need to borrow.
This time, the construction of the pedestrian overpass superstructure at Ricin Road and Edward Street, Port of Spain. However, the ministry advises that there will be a temporary traffic disruption from 9 a.m. today along Ricin Road between Edward and Sackville Street and ends on Monday to facilitate this period. Motorists are advised to pay attention and utilize the alternative routes provided. Regionally, as we focus on Guyana's election, a clear act of insubordination is how one source has described the report submitted by Officer Keith Lowenfield to GECOM on Tuesday, in which he erased over 115,000 votes from the March 2nd general elections. According to Guyana's electoral laws, the CEO is at all times subject to the control of the Guyana Elections Commission. The source argued that Section 18 of the Elections Law Act of 2000 that should be notwithstanding anything in any written law, the officer remains subject to the direction and control of the Commission. When Lowenfield on Tuesday submitted to the Commission a report of what he deemed valid and credible votes, he flouted the clear directives of Chairman of the Commission, Justice Claudette Singh. And now for the weather forecast. Today will be partly cloudy and windy with scattered showers. There is a low chance of a heavy thunderstorm during the afternoon. Maximum temperature will be 31, be moderate with waves 2 meters to 2.5 meters in open waters and less than 1 meter in sheltered areas. High tides at 7:12 a.m. and 8:33 p.m. Low tides. Good morning.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages. Only the people can save the people. This is the mantra of the National Solidarity Assembly. Join its political leader and president of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, Nirvan Maharaj, as he invites you to join these organizations and other top executives on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper for 2 one-hour monthly features as they discuss and challenges facing the working class of this country, tackling the issues, generating bold talk, finding solutions, bringing the workers' agenda to the front burner, and providing a new vehicle. That's the NSA's mission. Be part of this informative panel discussion with operatives from the NSA. Only happening here on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper. Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and General Contractors Limited, Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Kathy's School Sport Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's School Sport Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. It's just about 13 minutes here past the hour of 7 o'clock. And let me remind you, that time check came to you through the kind an opportunity to share your thoughts and to share your views with us. But to do so, you need to call us at 63367. As such, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Kenring, and morning, Mr. Barbara.
Well, Bacchanal in the politics of Trinidad and Tobago, my friend.
Do it, Bacchanal, it's politics, Bacchanal. But what I want to call this morning, I want to congratulate Mr. Mukit Barbara.
Okay.
He was welcome here. He came. He learned a lot here. Kenrick Island, you rub off on him plenty. No. You see, he have a kind of aggressive Vivian Richard attitude.
Uh-huh.
Barbara will go out here.
Uh-huh.
And there's some callers, he had kept them at bay.
Uh-huh.
So I wish him well. Yeah, I mean, the little sabbatical, they did 3 months, 4 months. I'm sure he learned plenty.
I trained him well.
Yes, you did well, my friend. But the point is, as you say, you must deal in facts, not fiction.
Yeah, true.
Yeah?
True, yes.
So I mean, the pride of Lyman Road, and I wish him well in his new venture. But you always welcome. What you want to throw the line?
Okay, I hear you.
Thanks again.
Okay, yes. So, okay, I told you another, you see, you wanted to raise with me here this morning. Mukesh, you know, as Trinidadians, we are so creative, boy. Very, very creative. And I want to applaud Trinidadians for being creative and innovative too.
Mm-hmm.
The Ministry of Health last week would have announced that bars would open from 10 o'clock. Rather, they would close at 10 in the evening. Here it is, you had bars opening in the morning, maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or what have you. And then they close at 10. You see, in every line, there is what you call a loophole. And as Trinidadians, we are so creative, we use that loophole. So here it is, some bar owners, and let me say good morning to our technician here this morning who is keeping us live on YouTube, Shiva Parashram. Thank you very much, Shiva, for making Mukesh and I look nice
somehow,
on YouTube.
Somehow you organize the camera that affairs look better.
Yes, so as I continue, my point is you have some bar owners being very creative.
Yeah.
That is to say, Mukesh, they are adhering to the guidelines. That is to shut your bars at 10 o'clock. But at 10 o'clock. But some bar owners, they would shut at 10 and open at 2 o'clock in the morning, Mukesh. Open at 2 o'clock. So they are adhering to the rules. So in essence, the Ministry of Health in the guidelines is now saying, hey, what? Only open from 8 in the morning, but make sure that you're closed at 10. So in essence, these bar owners were actually facilitating themselves by opening from 2 o'clock until...
Rick, I live in a fishing area.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come out from the water, all 3 in the morning, 2, 3, 4, is either drink a cup of hot coffee, or you look for some to drink water. You understand?
But hello, Mukesh.
It's keeping you warm inside, Kenrick.
Yeah, but that does not stop you from walking with your little thing in your back pocket. No, I'm just trying to emphasize how creative as a people we are.
Yeah, but
they tell you, well, okay, you close at 10. So you close at 10 is that, well, you open in the morning around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or whatever. They have to issue a mandate this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And this is the policy. You open at 8 and you close at 10.
So when them fishermen by me finish work about 2, 3 in the morning, I have to wait in front of the bar till 8 for it to open.
Well, that is nothing new in rural communities, Mukesh. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
What about open and closing hours? Before they had the open any day, any time, they stop open and closing hours.
Mm-hmm.
To a side door. You walk inside, the bar closed tight. Everybody inside having a good time.
So, so Chris, I guess they will have to take down these signs now.
Because I know as a young fella growing up, we spend 20 nights and wake up the next one about open the door so the sun shining.
It's
walking on the place dark and out in bright sunlight.
Ours is
and the bar closed all through that thing.
Yeah, ours is a unique society indeed, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they have no cook food, is sardine and biscuit.
All right, but I want you to share your thoughts with me because I know you've been following what is happening in the Guyana general election. Share your thoughts with me this morning. I mean, all this bacchanal, all this
Well, as
brouhaha.
far as I'm concerned, Granger doesn't want to relinquish the power all over Guyana.
Yeah, but even members of his family, they are asking him to step down.
Because they know what he's doing there is really...
And then coming into all of this bacchanal is the independence of Keith Lowenfield. His independence is coming into question.
You see, that's right. And the next thing, you see, while that is happening, the people of Guyana are suffering. I mean, I have been frequenting and working with a cabinet office in Guyana as well. The people there are not suffering, man. There was a time when you have, and you see with this oil thing that's going to happen in Guyana, that man don't want to give that up, you know. He will hold on there for their life. You have to go there kicking and screaming.
Yeah, but you have even regional organizations. They are asking the operatives there to let good sense prevail and, make a decision quickly so as to benefit the people of Guyana.
But Granger and his Attorney General, as far as they are concerned, they are alone to themselves. But this could...
Would share your thoughts with me on Michaela Pandey throwing her hat into the political ring?
Well, the way I see it, Barstow Pandey, of all people know that he ain't going to win no seat. I think the whole idea is they want to put pressure on Mrs. Bissessa to overcome the ground and she get a seat of her own. Because Barstow Pandey should know. He tell people if you see her land fighting, fish for land. But a woman cut it.
All right, all right, let's give somebody else a chance this morning. Thank you very much for your contribution to Tobago. Not that limelight. You will do anything. You'll exert so much oxygen and enthusiasm just to be in the limelight so that you can grab a headline.
So your whole political life you condemn two parties. Any party split from you and PNMB team, they split in vote and all kind of thing. Now you say we are splitting a vote and all kind of thing, So this is why while people, she is free to form a party, and her father is the advisor. Her father is the one who condemns everybody. The same thing. You understand? He condemned the same thing he's doing. And that I personally would have no problem.
Yeah,
and still do not have a problem with them.
And you're right, because on the hustings for, let's say, previous general elections, do not allow them to split your vote.
All them things.
Yeah.
And now they come with the same thing. So, and this is the contradictions. And that is what people are pointing out now. Not that they do have this, is what you contradict. You're contradicting yourself. You're condemned for your whole
politics this morning. I'm wondering, what is the fate now of people like Lincoln Douglas? What is the fate of people like Roger Samuel? What has happened? We haven't heard anything from these people within the last 2 or 3. We spoke about it with their intention to contest and throw their hat into the political ring again. We have not.
They went into oblivion.
All right, let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, gentlemen. Welcome, remember, morality of his own boy. Well, they were my baby man, right? I'm going to go you, boy, behave yourself.
All right, friend. Well, thank you very much for your contribution with us here. Call us.
Yes.
You can share thoughts with us. Today, it's a Friday. We are not here discussing any particular issue, but offering you, our listening audience, to share your thoughts with us and some of the challenges that you are facing, some of the issues at around 7 Union, Mr. Nirvan Maraj. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I see Mr. Pandey doing it nice, man.
Yes,
Some nice financier, money running.
Yeah.
Your election don't depend on the people. There are no time with them. The money people is worried about. And once they could learn that, they do good. And them on the ground have to see about themselves. You need them for one day after that. You don't really care about them. The man who poured the money is a gamble. He always wins. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Mukesh, Kenwin Jones, David Nackett, and Cleopatra Boyle Brown have in common?
Well, they're sporting personalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
The also factor here is they are candidates in the upcoming 2020 general election.
Two of them just kick ball and one is throw ball.
Yeah. So what are you talking about kicking in parliament? If they're thoroughly, yes?
People without... Kenwin Jones. Well...
Kenwin Jones.
Kenwin Jones.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about him being in parliament. You know, son. He will be viewed from... And sure.
But I'm glad you touched on David Nackett. I mean, here it is, you have a young man who is aspiring to become a member of parliament. Nothing is wrong with that. You're talking about grassroots, about representing the voice of the normal man, but you campaigning with a jacket, those who want to support you.
Well, if David Nackett, for most of his life, he wore a jacket and tie, he may take some to transition to a T-shirt. Maybe he don't feel too comfortable.
On the line first. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Kenrick, man. Morning, Mr. Babura.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Kenrick. You have to put on a yellow jersey and walk the road. I mean, when you fool us again. Now the honeymoon time, now the fooling time, the courtship time, and if you're fooling me now, when you go fool me again. So, I mean, I mean, they may vote whether it's for party, but at the end of the day, that's not a message about the individual. We are sure to see you again after that election. Because I mean, why you have one jersey? It's not wrong at that. I mean, you have to put a yellow jersey. People already choose you. You're confirmed. According to, I mean, they can change it on the year somewhere, but I mean, for now you're confirmed. Back out, take back of the jersey. Or like part of politics and part of life.
All right.
With Mr. Nirvan Maraj, and we'll see you at 8:30.
Only the people can save the people. This is the mantra of the National Solidarity Assembly. Join its political leader and president of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, Nirvan Maharaj, as he invites you to join these organizations and other monthly features as they discuss the concerns and challenges facing the working class of this country, tackling the issues, generating bold talk, finding solutions, bringing the workers' agenda to the front burner, and providing a new vehicle. That's the NSA's mission. Be part of this informative panel discussion with operatives from the NSA. Only happening here on U97.5, Hot Like Pepper.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 20 for wholesale and retail prices. Contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Hi Sharon, how is your daughter?
Fine. She's 2 inches taller.
My son is 5 inches taller.
My daughter's class prefect helps students improve their chances of success. The future they want.
Available in your Monday Newsday. Newsday, independent and credible.
Daddy, could you tell me what's the qualification that I must have to be a politician? When I grow up, I want to become a famous man like George Bush Pandey To become a scientist, you need maths for this. But what must I study, Daddy, to get into politics? Sonny in the PN and your heart in the UNC. Can you be Robinson's chief party whip and fight him for our leadership? You must swear on Bible and take false oath. You must use big words to get votes. You must shun people when election done. Well, son, that's the qualification of a politician. Politician, a man must have a sound education. Should I go away to London or the USA? For me,
for you a bit later on, one of my favorite calypsos in these. Careful of what comes out of the mouth of a politician, my friend. Be careful. Promises a comfort for fools. Well, with me this morning is the President General of the Old Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, Mr. Nirvan Maraj, who is also the political leader of the National Solidarity Assembly. Now, the National Solidarity Assembly is the political arm of the union. And some time back, Mr. Nirvan would have indicated that the party, given its resources, given the state of affairs in Trinidad and Tobago at this time, they will not be contesting the general election of 2020. But in essence, they will continue to keep you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, abreast, informed as to what of the challenges, some of the challenges going forward. So let me say a very good morning to Nirvan Maraj this morning. Good morning, Nirvan, and how are you this morning?
Pleasant good morning to you, Ken, and of course to all the listeners, and I must say viewers now out there.
Yes,
good to be here.
Again, let me remind you, you can catch us live. Let's say thanks to Paris Run Productions, your home and wherever you are. You can catch us at RCM 75. We are live on YouTube. So good morning, people. Good morning, and welcome to our feature here with the Old Raj, and by extension, the executive and members of the union for partnering with us here at 975. Well, certainly, Mr. Maraj, we have a number of issues we want to touch here on this morning. Going forward, 2020 general election. A number of people would have called into the program expressing disgust about representation, dissatisfied with the level of governance. More so, they are suggesting that be offered an opportunity to look at new faces, fresh perspective. In your humble opinion, and as the leader of the NSA, and more so on the platform, on the various platforms?
Well, certainly, Ken, what jumps out immediately will be that issue of crime. We do have a very serious crime situation that is perhaps unparalleled in our nation's history. We have a savagery and a brutality never before experienced. We have young men and even young women who are willing to live without a conscience. And I think that is one of the fundamental issues we need to really, as a nation, I've always said, call on the parliamentarians and the politicians to be willing to have a national front parliamentary session when it comes to serious issues affecting the country, more so crime. For example, I have always told you, Ken, I would be happy the day that I could see in Parliament we have 41 members of Parliament who stand up as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and not as UNC or PNM, and instead of debating and arguing, really discuss the crime situation in Parliament at short-term population should be looking at. I think one of the major issues we need to look at is that question of the diversification of the economy. More so, as I've always said before, sector, not organization or for making money, but being a foundation more so now in order to allow Trinidad and Tobago to feed itself. And when you speak of the agricultural sector, you then go into which party could present to us in their manifesto a proper land management policy, as I've always said. You cannot talk management policy for Trinidad, looking at the hundreds of thousands of state lands that we have, the ex-colony lands, colony tenants land, squatting land, and what have you. The concept of mega farms. So diversification, especially now in terms of agriculture, is essential for one reason only: the ability to feed yourself as far as possible. Full stop. It's not about money. It must become a foundation pillar. And I think COVID-19, for example, would have shown that clearly. I also want us to look at the question of education. I think we are, and people will have to forgive me for saying this, but if we are a nation who often boasts about our education system, and we're seeing so many scholarship winners and accountants and engineers, and we have so many persons who we deem to be educated academically, and in this group you still have a majority of persons who, if an election is called in traditional and academic qualification, all these things are thrown out of the door, and you resort back to a primal state of them or us, and you engage in the politics to a very large education as a result of certification. You resort back to the question of race and ethnicity as being the foundation pillars upon which you vote in Trinidad and Tobago. I think we need an education system that could develop a sense of critical thinking, understanding the history of our country, because we don't have that, and maybe to see change in Trinidad and Tobago.
But you talk about change, but let's look at what is happening in the politics of the day. It's early days yet. The two major political parties hit the ground running, so to speak, for a number of reasons. I would have listened to some of the politicians, I would have listened to the leaders, and thus far, they would have failed to chart a course as to how to ignite the economy. You spoke about education. We are educating people, building capacity for them. Where are the industries? Where are the industries? Where are the job opportunities?
Well, what we have seen in Trinidad and Tobago is an underclass dependent on social and political handouts to survive. When you look at it very clearly, you see the end of the steel mill, for example. Use the word closing down, but taking a systematic, organized policy of the deindustrialization of Trinidad. I don't know where that will end, but I do know that if we to ensure that it remains in the hands of the people. Petrotrin, for example, Colony Limited, for example, at that time. These are essential services that must always remain in the hands of. But I use it because it's the best way to express the fact that essential services must never be looked upon as being there for profit maximization or for making money. It must be looked upon, and the word service must be looked upon as providing a service to these against the privatizer must continue to be the owners, and you have to ensure some by private citizens. And if the state falters in providing that to the citizens, then we have a problem. And if I may, your point is totally correct. Politicians are not focused and are not focusing on the issues much as they focus on the personality issues of who did what and who didn't do what, and who children do this and who children didn't do that, or who wife do this or who husband do that, and as a result of that we keep losing the chance to really develop Trinidad and Tobago in a particular way, Ken.
As a student of history, looking at politics, the political culture of the 60s, getting to the 70s, 80s, 90s, and now we are into 2020. To me, nothing has changed in essence. Political structure is based. Here it is, I read it in Interest last week, where it has been claimed that a group of people or someone was deliberately trying to cast aspersion on the candidate's character. The point I'm making here to you is this. The PNM is saying, well, okay, this is not us. The UNC is saying, this is not us, it is you. The politics have not changed. The narrative have not changed. It is about personality of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I mean, I have my views. As I've always expressed my views openly, without fear or favor. I do think that after 1962, the politics would have dramatically changed. I think before that, as I said before, you had that class struggle. After 62 and a bit to hold on to power, you had the use of race as an integral part of the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is why it will never change, because at the end of the day, I think with the workers and farmers provide a certain level of intellectual capability to the politics of the country. You had men like C.L.R. James, you had Basil Pandey at that time, you had Stephen Maraj, my own granduncle, you had, and from that you had fellas like Jamada and them who went into the DLP. The Workers and Farmers Party was basically eradicated at the polls, and they probably had some of the best intellectual minds in terms of providing manifesto and providing concepts that could have taken Trinidad forward. That has the politics of the DLP and the PNM. And I think after 62, you have a situation where our politics, unless we have valid constitutional change with regard to Parliament and the Westminster style system of government, which I think has served its purpose, but it is no longer doing so, because as long as you have a system of party paramountcy, winner takes all, that is based on the concept of race, them or us, you will always have half of the population being or feeling disenfranchised government. There will always be a large percentage of the population feeling as though they don't belong. And we need a system where some form of groups, based on the votes that you get, being able to also have a voice in Parliament. In that way, for example, colony workers, let's say ex-colony workers, depending on the amount of votes you could muster if you are a party representing them, you could have a voice in Parliament to articulate their issues. The environmental issues, you could have a voice in Parliament. To happen, we have many Labour leaders, for example, who would have entered Parliament, or people who would have been birthed from the Labour movement. And as soon as they reach, they all turn their backs. They all adhere to certain neo-colonialist lines. So it's difficult for it to change unless you have some valid constitutional reform with regard to the electoral process and parliamentary process in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, so let's shift gears here, Mr. Maraj. Last week the country would have celebrated Labour Day, and you would have been part of that quote-unquote celebration. Could you remind us, the listening audience, as to what are some of the views, what are some of the thoughts as expressed by some of those quote-unquote gathering?
I think one of the fundamental views is the fact that there were many companies who were attempt 19 as an excuse to undermine the collective bargaining process by withdrawing many of their proposals that they would have made, by attempting to unilaterally change terms and conditions of employees without consultation with the union, using the COVID-19 to retrench, to lay off, to engage in contracting out and outsourcing work that permanent employees would normally do, and basically even go to the extent where companies want to engage in wage freezes. A number of issues that we would have looked at. I myself is that everyone is on a total layoff. We are facing the repercussions of work rotation. So there are many issues in labour movement. And I think this is as a result of the lack of proper labour legislation in the country, as I've always spoken of.
And that would have been my other question to you. Yeah, because I know that given the environment in which labour is operating today, in which companies are operating today, a number of workers are temporarily home, so to speak, of course. And last week I would have asked you about your thoughts on the industrial court, the relevance of the industrial court to preside over matters.
I think it's very relevant. The industrial court is very relevant because industrial relation, that is really a separate jurisprudence unto itself. It is not bounded by the limits and restrictions of the criminal court or the civil court, which is based on the balance of probabilities, while the criminal court being based on beyond a reasonable doubt. The industrial court opinion subjective opinion and that social conscience, social justice, all these things are taken into play. When you go to a court, unlike the industrial court, the civil and the criminal court is based on evidence, evidential data. So it's not a question of morality or ethics or justice as much as it's a question of empirical evidence. Whereas the industry always tries to find that balance. Yes, you may have evidence, but it tries to find that balance with social conscience and social justice. And that aspect of the country and labor, and ensuring that you maintain a particular relationship between employer and employee. However, the court needs to be reformed. You need security of tenure for judges. You need to ensure that the judges of the industrial court are not politically appointed. That's why I would have made a call for these the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. You need to ensure that the industrial court can enforce its own judgment. As it stands, even though you may have a court, you still have to go to the High Court to enforce to the award. I've always called for an indemnity fund to be created so that in terms of retrenchment, workers are able to get some sort of stipend until such time as they are able to find another job. And many is act, I would have called for the reform of the Companies Act to ensure that workers are placed on the first tier of creditors rather than financial institutions or government agencies who could bear the brunt of losing his job. So these are some of the issues, and you know, Ken, sometimes I wonder if politicians...
They do, I can tell you that.
I have actually heard on this program being spouted by politicians on the hustings. So it seems as though there are many who listen to the programs or go on the internet and look at what you post up, reform. I'm hearing them talking about reform of the Industrial Relations Act, and you don't hear these voices for the last 4.5 years, you know. So
they are also calling for more resources for the industrial court to expedite for them matters before them, writers tolling and so on.
Well, it means some politicians may have listened to the Labour Day speeches, because I know that the president of the Joint Trade Union further resources, more resources for the industrial court, and as Labour leaders, we all advocate.
Or as well for the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Maraj, going forward, in this period, which is quite challenging indeed, to satisfy greater the needs of workers who you represent, how challenging it is for you in terms of bargain?
Example, before COVID, with one company, I was at the point if workers made 40 hours for the week. Well, 40 hours for the week, 8 hours a day. So you're looking at a 14% increase, together with a 10% productivity incentive bonus if you make that 40 hours. After COVID, back to the negotiating table, the company is offering
000.
Not zero. I think it's 2% example of what COVID has done. But even before COVID, you have a situation where there are many companies who would use every excuse possible. I have a company, most of the workers from a particular division, a temporary layoff they called it. But while they have done so, the work that was being done by some of these workers are being outsourced and contracted out.
Let's say dismiss Umar Ratan Singh. But I want to you, Mr. Maraj, because one caller last week, environment. Share that with me.
Well, first of all, I am as an employee or not, or a worker or would have ever been. And all I would say to the employer, the slave, the maternity benefits, the casual, are all as a result of the trade union movement, the equal opinion movement coming from the nation.
With him, there are some other issues about this morning, and certainly information coming from the President General of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union. Stay with us on 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. And yes, I know our lines are burning up, but I will give you an opportunity, people. Trust me, I will give you an opportunity to raise a question, share a concern with Mr. Maraj after the 8 o'clock hour. Stay with us here, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper.
Only the people can save the people. This is the mantra of the National Solidarity Assembly. Join its political leader and president of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union. He invites you to join these organizations and other top executives on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper for 2 one-hour monthly features as they discuss the concerns and challenges facing the working class of this country, tackling the issues, generating bold talk Talk, finding solutions, bringing the workers' agenda to the front burner and vehicle. That's the NSA's mission. Be part of this informative panel discussion with operatives happening here on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper.
My daughter scored 90% on her SEA test.
My son, fine, you win.
Newsday's newly revamped SEA test supplement helps students improve their chances of success. Let your child build today the future they want tomorrow.
Available in your Monday Newsday. Independent and credible.
Make it your choice. Something for everyone.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, multicultural radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time to the hour, brought to you by Crystal Duper Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Lisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday.
This is the 8 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Irma Ratensingh. Good morning. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar has announced Jillian John as the candidate for Labit politics. Entered the public life under former Prime Minister Basdev Pandey and served as a former Transport Minister and Minister of Tourism and Tobago Affairs. Political leader of vote is all propaganda. Makila Pandey spoke during a press conference to announce the party's intention to contest the general election. Makila said the party will contest all 41 constituencies. The party's campaign manager, she's
the EBC and CS, and the voting pattern shows that of the two major parties put together, less than 50% of the entire electorate votes for them.
A $25,000 of 2-year-old baby Ania. Police Commissioner Gary Griffith has responded after a court judge on Wednesday granted an interim injunction to a police officer, preventing the commissioner from removing him from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. The officer is awaiting trial for the murders of 3 people, which occurred in Barrackpore in 2011. A report said Griffith wrote the officer informing him that it dismissed him or the officer to retire from the TTPS. Commenting on the latest development at the TTPS meeting. In a related story, bars and casinos will only be permitted to open from 8 a.m. 19 novel coronavirus regulations. The new regulations came into effect as of yesterday and will remain effective until the end of the stipulated a closing time for all businesses and permitted the reopening of bars and casinos. However, the ordinance issued on did not specify any opening time for the bars and casinos, leaving room for some to operate from midnight. And that's the end of your update. Join us again at 10 a.m. for more news on U97 Cultural Radio. I am Irma Ratensingh. Good morning.
Supermarket, Sheikh Lisha Limited, and the Trinidad.
Mr. Trinidad, tell me what scene you want. Do you just like, you say you against the power structure? You ain't like because you refuse to vote in election. But then you want revolution. You strongly communism. Guardians they really know what they want. Don't want democracy, it is guerrilla activity. If you don't want democratic improvement, you have to want a revolutionist government. And yet when God kills, all you're doing is grinning and skylarking. You come like the ass in the lion's skin, because you say less than that about Ranger. You say Kamal seeking his own interest. You call Millet a Marxist Leninist. You are ODAC, neither DLP, and you say TNM is only ratchet P. You white Trinidadians just like plenty mama guy. Trinidadian talking black power. It's not wrong for a man to love his culture. Yes, you walk around with your Afro flat and you're dragging a faggot. But although they're rapping about Africa, you're eating roti like if you're born in India. So who you gonna blame? William say he want to retire. You beg him to stay a little longer.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much for staying with us here at 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, just about 10 minutes here past the hour of 8 o'clock. And let me alert you that that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM, Hot Lesson here with the President General of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, and by extension, the political leader of Assembly, Mr. Nirvan Maraj. Well, thus far, we would have touched on a number of issues, but we continue to look at some of the contest any seat in the upcoming general election for obvious reasons, resources, and what have you. Here it is, we have another quote-unquote smaller party, and yesterday it was announced that Michaela Pandey, the political leader of the Patriotic Front.
And I have always said that when you were born, your birth paper never said you had to vote the PNM or vote the UNC.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I think everyone has a constitutional and democratic right under our system to engage in electoral politics as they see fit.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly, this concept that people talk about, the split vote, I think the fact is you have to excite the imagination of the public in order to vote for you. And I don't think any of the impression that they own your vote. Instead, let them earn it. I think smaller parties are very relevant. You articulate issues that the larger parties don't. You represent individuals who believe that they are disillusioned and disenfranchised. If you get 10 votes, those are 10 individuals whose imagination you would have excited.
Mm-hmm.
That is the nature of our system. I've never seen any difficulty with a third party. We ourselves in the National Solidarity Assembly would have contested Sangre Grande, as you remember, and we were able, and we tied the corporation because of our presence there. In the Couva Point Lisa's electoral district, for 81 votes in a local election as a small party. The point I'm making is that you, as a small party, you are giving representation and a voice to those who are an alternative to those who are not comfortable with the incumbent parties. So I don't have a difficulty with anyone engaging in the process as they see fit. That's your constitutional and democratic right.
Some would have also argued to Mr. Maraj about the substance, the quality of candidates chosen thus far. But damn if you don't, and damn if you do. As the leader of a political party, you would make decision, and it may not really be appeasing to the here it is, you have people are calling for fresh faces, new voices, giving a new perspective to the politics of the day. And also there are those who are saying that some of, let's say, established politicians, some of the more seasoned politicians should not face the polls. So how challenging it is to find that middle of the road, to find that balance.
I think a political leader has a very hard and difficult job. And I think I have always given Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar credit for being able to juggle personalities. And actually, when the People's Partnership won in 2010, to manipulate and to maneuver and to duck and weave and juggle these personalities in order to ensure you last 5 years. I mean, her task, I'm sure, was extremely difficult. And as a political leader, when you choose a candidate, you are doing so with the hope that that candidate will bring something to the table. And one of the things I have found is that I will never judge a person immediately by starting them with 0. I think every single individual should be started at 10 and let that individual break themselves down if it comes to that. And what I mean by that is that you cannot judge an individual and say he will be a good. May very well be surprised, Ken, that there are some individuals, when given the opportunity, may very well rise to the occasion and do what they have to do. Whereas there may be others who you will consider to be the greatest candidate, and when they get into power, if they do win that seat, you can't even speak to them or see them. So at the end of the day, I don't put on the candidates that are chosen. Yes, there may be obvious flaws, but at the end of the day, when it comes to something like politics, at the end of the day, you put someone in a position and you see how they operate in that position. I want to judge them before. And therefore, I have seen both political parties choose candidates whom I believe they think that those candidates could help. And that's the prerogative of the leader. And I will tell you this also, I've learned one thing. Loyalty beats competence any day.
Well, you talk about loyalty and you talk about competence. But in a sense, political analysts, writers, thinkers are saying to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, in these quote-unquote safe seats, you can put anyone, the party can put anyone, and the electorate or supporters would support that particular candidate. So it doesn't matter really as in terms of the quality of the candidate. What is important to know, Mr. Maraj, is that constituencies, this is where a high caliber, a quality candidate is needed to woo votes and impress.
On that, to a very large extent in the marginal constituencies, you have to put candidates that has some sort of national appeal, because in these constituencies you are attempting to cross the national divide, if I may, a divide that has existed since the 1960s when it comes to the politics per se, though it may have existed before but in different realms. You have to find the candidate that could best attract. When you put a candidate in a marginal, that candidate must be able to pull votes by themselves without the party brand. For example, I have seen candidates chosen in I saw some chosen in some of the safe seats, for example, without the party brand, 2 persons to follow them. Even in some of the central constituencies, I know that there are incumbent parliamentarians in the safe seats who can't get 2 persons to follow them by themselves. And so when you go to the marginal constituencies, you really need a candidate who are able to pull a bit from either the other side or pull a bit from those who do not normally vote or may not be intent or minded to vote. And that is why this election, I think, in those constituencies, candidates will be extremely critical.
Let me pose this to you, and I mean no disrespect by this. And again, I want to challenge the caller who last week of your political affiliation. And I told the caller, Mr. Maraj will be in the studio with me on Friday.
Sure.
And you should pose that question to him. That's why I said I'm going to open the lines, because I'm hoping that the caller would call and pose a question to you. But in the absence of that, since we are running out of time, I will pose the question to you. And maybe you can answer and can satisfy the caller. The caller said, listening to you for the past couple of months, he is of the view that you are a supporter of the People's National Movement. You want to respond?
Well, I think that's unfortunate, because again, it goes said. The politics has reached a stage where, and that is where we have a lot of functional illiteracy existing in Trinidad, where people are unable to give credit where credit is due, or take away credit if credit is not due. And I make no apologies. I am not a supporter of the PNM. I am never had a PNM party card. I have never been approached by the PNM for anything. My own father would have been detained for 6 months in 1970 fighting against the PNM. My granduncle Steve Maharaj, who was in the MP for Princestown, for example, would have fought against the PNM. We have always fought against the PNM, against what we saw as organized and systematic discrimination. At the end of the day, but if I something good, I intend to say that the government did something good, and I have no apologies in saying the government handled the coronavirus excellent, and perhaps could have taught the world, many countries in the world, how to do it with the parallel health system. I think I have always said I supported the government's foreign policy ideology. I don't hide that, and that's a fact. It doesn't mean I'm a supporter of the PNM or a supporter of the UNC. I disagree with the UNC on their stance on the foreign policy of Trinidad and Tobago. I disagree with the UNC in not giving the credit that is due to the government for the handling of the coronavirus. I disagree with the PNM's handling of the crime situation. Failure to support the bail amendment bill. So when you are objective, people tend to read into that as either supporting or not supporting. In Trinidad and Tobago, to a very large extent, if you say the PNM did something good, you're PNM. If you say the UNC did something good, you're UNC. And that is the irony of individuals who believe that they are educated, who believe that I went to school and I grasp the concept of what it means to look at something objectively and give credit where credit is due. So certainly I'm not a member of the PNM, nor am I a member of the UNC. And so I'm not too sure exactly what the caller would be pointing to. So
well, I hope your response would have satisfied one of our regular callers.
But let me also say this. I will always say, without fail or favor, I have a matter with Basil Pandey in the court, as you know. It doesn't take away from my respect and admiration for Basil Pandey, who would have made a valid contribution to this country in terms of politics and trade unionism. And I respect him even as an intellectual. You see the intellectualism of the man. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to allow Basil Pandey to operate in such a manner as to undermine the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union. Sure.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to our show. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, my friend, I don't know why you don't want to speak to us this morning, but you can call us back and pose a question, or if you have a concern with Mr. Maharaj, you can do so. Go ahead.
You see, the mistake that people make is that they put themselves above the organization. And an organization must always come first. You are there to play your part, and then you move on. And you leave room for others to play their part, and they will move on. And it's a question of successorship. And that's why when I became president, even during the UNC time, I would have waged a war on behalf of ex-colony workers in order for them to get the lands that are due to them. I see the caller if you wish to take
let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Maharaj.
Good morning, Mr. Belmont.
Good morning, sir.
I always like to hear you. You sound like a fresh breeze in the political circle. But I would like to ask you, and the question is, now, the gentleman who talk about the unions are not relevant and the unions are not important, I disagree entirely, because I know the value of the union at the workplace. But I would like to ask you the question, whether you believe the unions are doing for the education and the well-being of the followers. I'll give you one case in point that you could handle. The sugar union made an agreement in 2003 when it was closed down about the compensation and what they should get as severance. And up to now, 17 years now, they all haven't been satisfied. 17 years now. And when all these workers were laid off, I never hear the union talk about the employer responsibility to train and retrain them so that they could take up other positions. Sorry to take so long. Best wishes. I like political arena. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And certainly, the caller must remember that I only came into the union in 2012. the sugar 9 years after the sugar industry was shut down. And when I did my own investigation and I realized that so many persons were still to get that them and owed to them, that is when I took up the struggle. I can't account for what would have happened before that, between 2003 to 2009, with regard to that issue. I can only account for my own stewardship in dealing with the current issue. And I think it's plain for everyone to see, since 2012, what we would have done on behalf of ex-colony workers and attempting to get ex-colony workers what is due to them. Yes.
And just the matter concerning Caroni 1975 Limited and the visa package would have been on the front burner on this very same program.
Yes, 97.5 would have always given us the opportunity to articulate that issue as best as we can. And I must thank you for that, Ken.
All right. So as we move on with our conversation here, Mr. Maraj, before you go, there are two other matters which I want you to share your thoughts with us on here this morning. As a former teacher, there's still this difference of opinion as it relates to the SEA examination. Now, a decision has been taken that the examination should be held on the 20th of August. Teachers' stipend and so on. Some would have resisted these teachers getting the stipend. Some, the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association are saying that the exam should not be held on that particular date. And what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I was not a primary school teacher, so I am not too versed in how the syllabus for the SEA would be dealt with.
No, but I'm talking here in a sense with the stipend given to these teachers who will not be asked to come out of their quote-unquote official holidays.
Well, listen, I was a teacher for 10 years and I have always had my point of view which may not be in line with tutor or the teaching service. I think teachers in Trinidad and Tobago do go through a difficult job because you're not just a teacher, you're a counselor, you're a parent and what have you. But we also have to understand that for the 2 months for the August holidays, the 3 weeks for Christmas, I think, 2 weeks for Easter, you're also home and technically you have a vacation, though you may have work intermittently. There are other countries in the world where teachers are not paid. There are states in the United States where teachers have to go and find a job to earn an income during the vacation period. So I think you have to wait and you have to balance it. And it's like, even though school is closed, I'm sure there are teachers who are on call. I was a teacher for 10 years at Hillview College, and I could tell you, there was a time when you were leaving the country during the August holidays, you had to inform the ministry or get permission from the ministry at that time, because you were always on call, not because school has closed for the children. It meant that your duty is automatically stopped and you were on vacation. Yes, teachers need a vacation, but you also have to understand you have 2 months during the August holidays. You have the 2 weeks for Easter, you have the 3 weeks for Christmas, in addition to 14 days casual and 14 days sick leave. So at the end of the day, I think it can't be a situation where it's all about me. I am saying it openly. I'm a trade union leader, but at the end of the day, I have always said that my country must come first. I've always said that, Ken. And as a trade union that deals with a lot of private companies, I know, unlike those leaders who represent the government institutions, who represent the public service, I can't operate like they do because their workers cannot be fired. The public service rules and regulations alone will keep workers from being this. But I know that the workers I represent, in the morning a company could close down and they are all home. So different trade unions have to operate in a different manner. I can't ramage for a private confectionery company that I represent as other leaders would ramage for the passport office or ramage for TNT. You understand? It has to be a give and take. But I do think, look at the other side of the coin, because from my understanding, there are many, many parents who are ready and willing for the exam to take place in August as well.
Let's take another caller here on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Maraj, I'd like to ask you another question, please.
Sure.
Last night, if you heard Mrs. Bissessa, the political leader of UNC, what are your comments about her discourse? Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I don't know what I'm listening
I didn't hear it, to tell you the truth. But like I've always said, I have also be said, do I may not agree with some of the policies of the UNC or some of the issues they articulate on. The fact is, I said I respected her because of her ability to hold together all these different personalities. And I really do believe that on some issues, she was either deliberately or inadvertently misled by some of her own ministers when it came to agriculture and colony.
Let's take another call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Pleasant morning, Henry. Pleasant morning, Mr. Maraj.
Pleasant morning, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Maraj, 3 Thursdays ago, the opposition leader told...
All right, well, thank you very much.
Well, I didn't hear it. That must have escaped me. But certainly I don't believe in dismantling the army. What I do believe in that is that we could introduce legislation. I think every country needs an army, no matter how big or small you are. Because in 1990, the army played a vital role in ensuring the country maintained a certain level of stability together with the police. The fact is, I will not disband the army. What I will do is to introduce legislation, whereas the army is there to defend and maybe to assist in the putting down of civil unrest. The fact is, I think the army is necessary, but I will introduce legislation to engage in the fight against crime and to engage in other activities as well to benefit the country.
Let's engage another caller. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Kenry. Good morning, Mr. Marang.
Good morning,
ma'am.
Yes, what I'm the opposition leader, she is saying that she's still coming out and saying she's going to give land for the landless. And I'm not hearing anything that she's from saying what she's going to do with the cabinet workers and the land. So I don't know if that's still on hold or that is not in the front at all. I don't know what they're really doing about the cabinet workers giving them the land since she's saying land for landless.
All right,
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. She's talking here about promises made to ex-county workers not delivered. Here it is again, promises are being made.
No, well, certainly I've always said that the landless program must be looked at again because due for ex-county workers and were developed for ex-county workers were taken away by the previous government and given to the land for the landless program. So the caller is correct in that. And I think, as I've said before, I think this is a political question. It's a question of parliament. It's a question of politics. And certainly I would expect the opposition to really take up the issue of how the...
Before you go, Mr. Maraj,
Sure.
I'll be failing in my duties if I did not ask you to comment on this ongoing controversy, on this ongoing narrative. You spoke this morning about systematic discrimination and so on. The removal of the Columbus statue as a history teacher, a student of history.
No, but as I said before, I don't agree with that at all. I think we have to learn from history so we don't condemn the mistakes of... not condemn to repeat the mistakes of the past. And some may look at Columbus as whatever they may wish to look at him, but I know that the Europeans who look at Columbus as a man who would have discovered the new world for Europe, the world, as some may say, who would have charted the ocean currents, created or began the recorded history of the West Indies. What happened after Columbus, of course, he is not responsible from an individual perspective for the atrocities that may have been committed after. The point is, if you want to get rid of Columbus' statue, then you are going to have to stop speaking the English language. You are going to have to stop, as I said before, playing cricket and football. You are going to have to stop wearing the clothing of the Europeans. You are going to perhaps stop driving in motor vehicles. You may have to go back to your original religious church. You are certainly going to have to get rid of Christianity, because under Columbus also came under the banner of the sword and the cross. And with the coming of Columbus, you had Christianity introduced into the Caribbean. So certainly you are going to have to get rid of Christianity as well. So I don't know. I think it has gone to make a point, but you don't build yourself by pulling down. As I said before, a history of a people is the history of its heroes. And what may be a hero to some may be a devil to others, but that doesn't take away from the history that has occurred and the perception of a people as it regards people in this country because of Williams' statement about the recalcitrant minority, who may very well say Williams was a racist, so take down the statue of Mahatma Gandhi, or take down this Rudyard Kipling, which shouldn't even be mentioned. So where does it stop? Where does it stop? And that is the point I'm making.
All right. Mr. Maraj, always nice talking to you about the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and always a pleasure hosting you on this program. I'm looking forward to next Friday.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Be healthy, my friend. Take
All the
care of
best.
you.
Take care.
Yeah. The voice there of Nirvan Maraj, a political leader of the NSA and president of the Old Trinidad General Workers Trade Union. Stay with us here, 975 FM, hot like pepper, as we continue with our discussion. Yes, we'll be going on till the hour of 9 this morning, so we'll continue to engage you. You can call us and our discussion with you. Stay with us, 975.
When I look around in the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand. While walking through, I see fruits of our ambitions, figments of our imagination. And I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally this land is not bountiful as it was, simply because in this quest for success, nothing's. All rivers run dry, soon the birds won't fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, yes, I just wonder why. Equal rights totally ignored. Wisdom and ingenuity working in accord, simply to afford such inventions as thermonuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here? Profits everywhere as the savage hands of unscrupulous men defile everything passed by. Time is running out as we eat and drink species at the brink of being extinct, yeah. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high. Really, really high, high, high. I see consciousness abate as to give less leave. Money make egos inflate and thereby create.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM Hot Like Pepper as we move up to the hour of 9 o'clock. It's just about 21 minutes here to the hour of 9. Note that at the top of the hour you can join the Bees Hi-Fi, who will be taking you until the hour of 12 noon today with some beautiful music from our studio here in Couva in central Trinidad. Well, Mukesh is back on the board with me this morning, and we have some callers on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5.
Good morning, Kenneth. Good morning, Mukesh. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning to you, Larry Zami. How are you this morning? What's up?
I just tuned in a little while. I just left my office to hit the road, and I listened to the last leg of Mr. Maraj's contribution. Very, very educational, informative. I must compliment him. He's a true statesman to this country. I don't think much people has recognized Mr. Maraj for who he is. Right? Kenneth, next note is that yesterday I had a meeting with the regional coordinator for the disaster management office, which was, this person is attached to the Port of Spain division head office. I did have a number of people in a meeting with this gentleman, Peter Flershigonas, Pina Baby Corporation, the Sipara Regional Corporation, and I did have a number of homeowners in the meeting to discuss our flooding issues. And what he said to me that, even though he knows that flood does take place in Woodland, Barraports, and Francisque and stuff, he did not realize that the vast amount of water that we get in our little community there. It's the first time he's hearing about it. So, to ask is, all these reports that I have made in the past, where these reports went to? Because if I am doing what is right as a citizen, as a homeowner, right, the concerns about the flooding issue, and I've been going to the corporation, I've been going to the back of the corporation building, which is before the PDRC. He was explaining that to me yesterday, right? Where all these reports went, where does it really go if you go and you make a verbal report and you write it down? Where does it really go? Because this gentleman, he's the coordinator. And when I showed him the videos and the pictures of the flood, he said first time he's seeing this. Our report, number of us, our report. I'm going to follow up with another meeting now with the Major General of the Disaster Management himself, the big man in charge, to see what next we can do to help eradicate and eliminate some of the flooding that we encounter. So you see now, Kenrick, for those who are listening in the Penal area, Davie area, if people feel nothing is being done, here I am to tell the listening audience, yes, we are on top of things. This meeting also is going to be with Edward Moody. By the way, Kenrick, Edward would like to get to that. He wants to come and do a segment with you to inform the audience what is taking place with the South Riverine Action Group.
All right.
So it's a good thing. I want to thank Mr. Jai. And by the way, just to let you know, Kenrick, Mr. Jai, he is ready in a wheelchair and does his work and move around with the help of a driver. So even though that this man is in this situation, he is coming out, Kenrick. He's coming out. And he's visiting the homeowners who are affected with flooding.
All right. Well, we hear you, Larry. I want to thank you very much for that piece of information. According to Larry, there are agencies, personnel who are looking at the flooding situation in the Nal, Davie, Barrackpore, and surrounding areas whenever it rains heavily, floods on a perennial basis. And people are making noise. They are calling on the authorities to see what they can do to alleviate flooding in this area. And before I pass you back on to Mukesh this morning, let me remind you that a bit later on, from 3 to 6, you can join Sudat Prasad as he engaged discussion on his program on wine. That's from 3 to 6. And on today's edition, well, you can catch him as he discusses a former Trinidad and Tobago woman footballer. She's a UNC candidate. And also to Giselle Chance, president of Vision on Mission, an attorney at law. Alison Dimas, issues economics and so on. So it should be a very interesting discussion with Sudat Prasad a bit later on this afternoon from 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock. But I know listening audience as to what you can look forward to on his program and starting next Monday from 6 to 9. So before we bring the curtain down on today's edition of the morning program, Mukesh will keep you abreast as to what you can look forward to. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Hey, Ken.
Good morning, Brian Big.
How are you going, pal?
I thought your name would have been one of the names, boy, on the East-West corridor. Anyway, probably they have bigger plans for you, Brian.
Well, no. I mean, we have before.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I always tend to keep my fingers crossed, Good things for you.
Well, I am certain that there will always be good things for me, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main good is that I see a UNC victory coming for this general election. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Deputy Political Leader Jolene John on being named as candidate for the La Hoqueta Talparo seat. Ms. John, as the court is in fact the coordinator for that seat and has been. So it is only fitting that we hear that she became the candidate. So I'm very happy, I'm very pleased. I know the people of La Hoqueta Talparo was just waiting to hear the name.
Jolene John.
I am very happy for that. I totally endorse that decision of the political leader and that of the screening committee.
Well, I didn't think that you would have a different view, Brian. I know that you would support Jolene John. Yes, Jolene John is the candidate for the La Hoqueta Talparo constituency.
Yes, Henrik. Well, listen, he's tasting victory, he's smelling victory, he's predicting victory at the poll.
He has a crystal ball, eh?
I wonder if they will win San Fernando West. I wonder if they will win Tunapuna. I wonder if they will win Talparo, La Hoqueta, Talpa. Now, the marginal seats, are the seats, and forget Couva North and Couva South and Barrackpore and all these places. Right? Oh, we lost
we lost
yeah.
idea.
So if he knows they're going to win Tunapuna with David Naked and San Fernando West, how the guy name again?
Sean Sobers.
Right, and St. Joseph, Aloy. Alloy. Yeah.
Alloy.
Yeah.
You know, I was really prompted to say Alloy Liquai.
It has a kind of Arabic kind of alloy. Yes.
Alloy Hunt.
Yes. And or you know, if he knows they win it, well, you know, good for them. Good for them. Maybe the Patriotic Front might pose a challenge to them.
Right.
I don't know. But just to inform our listeners that yes, this is my final show. This is the final 15 minutes or so on this show. And I want to invite you all to you can join me if you wish to. I will be here on Monday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. For those of you who are accustomed to the show, the time slot has changed from 3 to 6 to 6 to 9. For those of you who are accustomed to listening, well, I will restart the program just how I left it, and then I will begin for where you are accustomed it being. And then from there on, we will move it, I'll tweak here and there.
Well, let me share a brief interview with you this morning, Mukesh. What can the listening audience expect of this? It's not a new program.
It is not. It's not.
Certainly, it's a new time slot. What can the listening audience expect?
Well, you know how we do things is a bit humorous. We try to make serious thing. We put it in a light manner to our listeners. Instead of just driving home and drive time, you are going to sleep. You want to put you in a better frame of mind because the program ends at 9. I always, Kenrick, and maybe I said it on the program, before I go to sleep, the little videos I have that does make me laugh, comedy, I will play that. So I go to sleep with a good frame of mind. So I will assist you in doing that. The topics of the day, we will definitely discuss it, but from a different vantage point. We have our segment, the same segment we used to have, bring information from around the world, that is funny stories and things. We shall do all those things.
The ball pistol is back.
The ball pistol is back. And anyone, even fellow announcers, might be in line for that. Yes, and I will be having some interviews also on the program, things like that.
All right, well, certainly something to look forward to. Mukesh, I want to wish you all the best in this new venture.
Yes.
And wish you all the success. But before we close today's program, your stint with the 975 morning program, together with myself, Uma, what has it done for you?
Well, any new experience is a learning experience. It was nice being here. It is nice getting up for me 4 in the morning and making my way here. Though it's just about 10 minutes away. The preparation. I like to have my good meal before I leave home, Kenrick. So I get 4 not to prepare myself here,
but to eat.
To prepare my breakfast and then have a hearty meal, and then come to the studio. So most of the time from 4, it's not at 4 o'clock I get up to come to work. It's 4 o'clock I get up to prepare my meal, eat my belly full, and then come to work. It takes me about 10 minutes for the most to come down here. So that's it. So yes.
Well, certainly it was quite refreshing having you on the morning program. You brought a value to the program. You brought a different perspective. But it's sad to see you go, but it's all about creating a better product on 975.
Yeah, well, of course, solitary figures yourself was solitary. I was solitary figure in the evening. It's a radio voice, a voice you may have known, a voice you should have known, and someone who worked with us, previously also.
Well, most people, when you hear a voice, you would know that she would have been part of the media fraternity for a number of years, and she would have also. She would have also worked together with us, Mukesh, at HCO Communications Limited. So it's good to get her back on the airwaves of Trinidad and Tobago. So that's something that our loyal listeners can look forward to. Nicole Duki will be joining me as of Monday. Mukesh Baburam will be moving on to another challenge in his life, this time at a different start from 6 to 9. Well, we have a caller here on the line. Hello, good morning. All right, we are so sorry to miss your call.
Yes, I don't want to say greener pastures. It means that this pasture is dry. If I say greener pasture, let me say another green pasture.
Let's take this caller. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Teresa. Morning, Mukesh.
Hi, good morning, friend. How are you?
Last morning, I gave you away. And I got to talk about Munilala again. I got to wait to 6 and I got to talk about Munilala again. So I want to wish you a good weekend.
Yes.
I want to wish Kenrick with the next host that we get in me to carry on the program. June 97.5, you can go on YouTube and all them kind of things. So, you know what? When they don't talk, I just try to talk and I can't talk to all you again because I just try to understand what you're trying to say. if Jolene John is on the screening committee, you don't expect you to get a seat of right? And all that kind of thing. You see, Brian gave them and Larry. I want to tell you, Larry, the kind of work Larry doing. You know that people voted for Muniland only.
All right, friend. Well, it's about that time, Mukesh. We bring the curtain down on today's edition of the morning program. You can join me again on Monday together with Nicole Duki as we continue to keep you engaged, continue to keep you informed. It's only happening on one frequency, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Let me take this final call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
And thank you.
Good morning, Brian.
Well, Mukesh.
Yes, sir.
It was nice having you.
All right.
And you're going from 6 to 9.
Yes.
Oh boy, I'll try and make sure and get you on that time.
Well, that cuts into the Monday Night Forum.
And well, what I can say is that Kenrick continues to be the dynamic person on the morning. It seems as though he survives everybody else, which is good. And again, I try to understand that fella. I don't know, like you have a personal vendetta with somebody, but you know. But anyway, all I will say again is that I expect Ms. John to be very victorious, right? And well, you saw what happened to Cleopatra Borel.
Yes.
So when the Russians say we have all 41 candidates inside, you did not do your due diligence, and you've just embarrassed your party. You've embarrassed your political leader. You've also embarrassed a national sporting legend by doing her that.
No, but hold on, Brian. Don't you think that Cleopatra Brown, I don't have a confirmation that if she is aware that she is a U.S. citizen, that there are certain declaration to make. You must make certain declaration. As a screening committee, you trust the wisdom, you trust the character of the candidate coming to offer her or himself. You understand the point I'm making?
Yes, but also a screening committee should ask of all this, which be a natural question. Are you a dual citizen? Are you a citizen of this country? Wherever you go, whether you're a citizen or not, there should be some application form to fill out. We're applying, because you're sending your documents. So I think by now, given the history of candidates in Trinidad and Tobago, any screening committee should ask any applicant,
Okay, let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenrick and Mukesh. That program with Mukesh, only on a Monday or that is every day?
No, ma'am. The program is on from 6 to 9, Monday to Friday.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. You see, Mukesh, you have a fan already.
Yes.
All right. On that note, let's bring the curtain down on today's edition of the morning program. But Mukesh, we have another caller here on the line.
Yeah,
hello, good morning. Welcome. Good morning.
Mukesh.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
The ladies with the maxis are glad you're coming back.
All right, Brian, thanks very much. Yes, you can catch Mukesh on from Monday to Friday between the hours of 6 to 9 for his program. Today is Mukesh's last day on the morning program, and on Monday I'll be joined by Nicole Duki as we continue to keep you abreast of all of the developments and keep you informed of all that is happening in Trinidad and Tobago. I am Kenrick Juggernaut.
I am Mukesh Baburam.
Do have a safe and a productive day, people. We are out of here. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Take us wherever you go. We'll continue to keep you entertained and informed. Good morning.
Are you tired of aches and pains in your joints and back area? Well, your relief is here with Ridopain Liniment. Ridopain Liniment gets rid of fibrositis, strains, sprained ligaments, stiffness, and all your arthritic and muscular pains. It is also excellent for sport injuries. Try Ridopain Liniment today. It really works. Available at Bartlett Drugs and all leading pharmacies nationwide.
KY's Electrical Supplies